Hey guys, techmadeezy, and thank you so much for clicking on our video today. Well guys, we got our hands on the brand new Bluetti AC60. It is in the house. Guys, this thing is IP65 dustproof and water resistant. Check that out. It's expandable to 2015 watt hours, which I thought was insane. It's got a built-in wireless charger. It's got 7 ways to power devices. It's got a light in the back. Of course, it's got the lithium iron phosphate battery that'll give you 3,000 plus cycles, and then it'll go to 80%, and this thing even has a 6-year warranty. So they keep improving the warranty. So why don't we take some time to go check this thing out? Hi, this is Al from techmadeezy with a really quick message. The video you're about to watch is sponsored. We received this product from the vendor. But keep in mind, we will be very honest with you as we review the product. That is very important to us. If you like our video, I sure hope you give us a thumbs up. I hope you share our video. And last, I really hope you subscribe and become a part of the family. Thank you. Here is what we're covering in this video. We're going to do an unboxing, a close look. We're going to review the features and the basics. We're going to do a UPS test. We're going to test a pure sine wave to see if it actually is pure sine wave. Pass through charging, an AC charge test to see how long it takes to charge, a living room power test, an LED light test, a quick solar test. We're going to take a look at the Bluetti app. We're going to do a section called Know Before You Buy. This is really good for beginners. A refrigerator test, 600 watt power test to see if this actually has the power it states, a noise test. We're also going to go over some estimated run times. Let's go ahead and get this unboxed. And there you go. Everything that you get in the box. And of course, we've got the new AC60 right there. Beautiful. We'll take a good look at that. What else do you get in the box? Well, you get a solar cable, right, to barrel plug. Some companies aren't including those anymore. You get a car charger. You get your AC plug. Of course, you don't have a big brick. They stopped doing that on a lot of their power stations. It's built right in. So it's one less thing to carry. That's really nice. You get a grounding screw, all right? You do get a fuse. We'll check that out later on. That's the first time I've ever seen a fuse. You get your user manual. You do get a warranty card, and then you get a pass inspection card there. So that's good to know, the unit passed inspection. Well, let's check this out. We're going to take some time now and go over basics. So, of course, this is the AC60, and it sells for $699 MSRP. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on pricing to see if it goes on sale. Now, it's a 600-watt unit. It surges to 1,200 watts. One thing I couldn't confirm, but we're going to test this later, is this pure sine wave? And it really should be, but for some reason it is not listed, and I always look for that. Now, the other thing that wasn't listed was, does it have a UPS feature? So again, we're going to test that later on in the testing section. And don't forget, we have timestamps down below to help you out. This does have pass-through charging. We're going to test that. And let's talk about the battery. So this is a 403 watt-hour capacity. All right, again, it is lithium iron phosphate. It's got 3,000 plus cycles, and then it goes to 80%. Now, the battery cells in this is a UN3480. So I'm going to start talking about that because there are people that want to know the types of cells. It is expandable. You can add 2 B80 batteries to go to 2015 watt hours. It does have an app for app control. We're going to show you that in the video. And the weather rating on this is IP65, dustproof, and water resistant. Now, talking about output, this thing has 7 outputs. All right, you've got a wireless charger, you've got a car charger, USB, you got 3 of them. One of them is a USB Type-C, and you've got 2 AC outlets. All right, we're going to show you those in the close-up and go over some key features as well. Again, 600 watt AC outlets, and you can charge this via AC to 100% using turbo mode in 1 hour. We're going to do a charging test, and we'll show you that. Solar charging on this is 200 watts max, 12 to 28 volts, 8 amp. Not that good, I'll be honest with you. Not really impressed on that. Car charge is 200 watts, 8 amp. Again, battery expansion. You can go to 2015 watt hours, which is good. We showed you what was included earlier today, so you do get the solar cable, the car charge cable. I like that. The weight on this is 20.6 pounds or 9.1 kilograms. And again, this thing has a 6-year warranty. Let's go ahead and take a close look at this. So you can see here, you've got the wireless charger. We've got a test coming up in testing to show you if it works with an Apple and an Android phone, a Samsung phone. The handle's nice. You know, it's nice that they really put a really strong handle on this thing, and yet it folds down completely flat. And check the rubber out on this thing. You know, this is just like the B80 battery. I like that it's nice and thick and cushiony, so it will help if you have to carry it for a little while. Now let's look at the front of the unit. You've got a car charger. Again, I love the ports. I love that they're all covered, first of all. I really do. This is a nice idea as well. We'll take a look at. But car charge, you got a 12 volt, 10 amp car charger with a nice cover. You've got a USB Type-C that's 100 watts, right? So you get one of those. You get 2 USB Type-A. I believe these are 12 watt, all right? So these are not, you know, these basically they say it's 5 volt, 3 amp, all right? But you get 2 of those. Obviously, to turn on your DC or turn on your wireless charger, you have to make sure DC is on. And of course, AC would be right there for your AC outlets. Now, taking a look at the outlets, what I like that they did was they made this a circle. So when you put it around, it really grabs. Instead of trying to plug it in, how they would put things here to plug into here, this is a real nice cover. I like that a lot. And it doesn't get in the way. You know what I mean? If you have to lift this, it's soft, it's rubbery, it's not stiff, it won't get in the way. Let's take a look at the left side. So you can see on the left side, you do have a fan area here, and you also have one on the other side. Now, my only concern is that you can see into this unit, and they're saying this is IP65, which means it should be able to handle splashes of water. But what if water gets in? I don't know. I'm hoping the components next to the area here have that additional protection. Again, Bluetti has been around a long time. All right, we do get 2 battery expansion ports, number 1, number 2, 22.4 volt DC and 30 amp max. All right, so real nice that you can actually expand it by adding 2 B80 batteries. If you look at the back, you do get a light, and we'll demonstrate that later on as well. A rubbery button, and we'll see how bright that is. I mean, look at this white. So it looks like they put white here instead of clear for the light. Maybe that helps. Let's also take a look at the right side. All right, and on the right side, you'll see again, I mean, I can see in that unit. I mean, really, like, so I'm just hoping that that's protected in there. I like to look at this little, you know, a cover for your AC input. So that's really good, very nice quality. Your ground here, the ground screw. You have a fuse that's in here that you can access if you need to. And this you're going to use to plug in your car charger and your solar. So again, they do cover that really nice, which is good. Let's take a quick look at the bottom of the unit. Here's the bottom of the unit. You get 4 nice sized rubber pieces, you know, to protect wherever you're putting it. Not bad at all. And you do get specs down here on the bottom if you need them. So here are some of my favorite accessories. Now, the unit itself has a light in the back, and you can control it by the app. But what if you wanted a light in the front? Well, I've got a real small USB light. I'm going to put this in real quick so you can see it, but it's pretty bright, and it gives you light in the front if you want that. Now, it's dark in here, but this camera does pretty well by brightening things up. But I just want to push this in so you can actually see how bright this thing is. So it gives you an option to have light in the front. Let me show you the next accessory. So the next accessory will give you more USB Type-Cs. As you can see, you only get one, but you do get two USB Type-As. Well, what if you want another USB Type-C? Well, that's easy. We have an adapter, if I can find it. And all you do is take this adapter, USB-A to USB-C. It doesn't change power, but you now have two USB Type-Cs. What if you want more USB-As? Well, I've got an adapter for that. Let's check it out. So to convert the USB-C to USB-A, this is the adapter you would want. Push it right in, and now you've got three USB Type-As. I'll put links in the description for these accessories. All right, it's time to show you how to expand the capabilities of the AC60. You can add two B80 batteries and go to 2015 watt hours, 400 watt hours, 800 watt hours for the battery on this thing. A little more than that, but still amazing. So how do you connect this? Well, let me show you real quick. Now, before I connect this, I want to show you something. This battery acts like an expansion battery to the AC60. It automatically calculates the battery percentage, and you can even see it on the app. Now, we recently did a video on the EB3A, and everyone bought one of those. I mean, you got them for like $200 on sale. They're still available. It's a nice small unit, and guess what? This works on the EB3A. But it doesn't work as an expansion battery. It actually charges the EB3A. Here's the video that we did. If you want to see the EB3A, this is what it looks like. We'll put a link in the description so you can check that out. All right, but I'm going to show you how to connect this. Let's take a look. So 100%, right? Okay. Well, let me go ahead and slide this over. All right, zoom out a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect this, and I don't think it matters what port. So you see here, you have to put it in this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it on the side. Sorry about all the noise. What you do is you push it in. As you push it in, it locks in place. All right, now the percentage is still 100. But once we connect it, you'll actually see that the unit is smart enough. Here's the port here. Put it in. Locked in place. And guess what? We just updated to 69% overall capacity. Again, it acts like an expansion battery. And that's really important. Don't mind me. I don't want to knock down Mower Joe. He's been with me a long time. I don't even want to knock down Superman. So 69%. So on the app, nothing major on the app. Okay, let me just show you. So we click on AC60 so it refreshes. You can see here, overall, 69% capacity. Now you can click on battery information, and it'll tell you that there's a pack 1, pack 2, overall expansion of 69%. So pack 1, state of charge 100%. Pack 2, state of charge 54%. So that averages out to 69%. Pretty cool. Very easy to connect. And guess what? You can connect up to two for 2015 watt hours. Very nice. Okay, this is something that I include in every one of my power station videos moving forward. It's called Know Before You Buy. And my goal with this is that you don't go out and buy something that is not going to work for you. All right? I don't want you spending the money. I don't want you to have the headache. And I can tell you how this started. I had a friend that bought a power station, and it was a small one. And because it was a power station, I believe she assumed it would power her coffee maker. And so she was extremely disappointed. And after talking with her, I tried to explain it's more about knowledge and understanding. And so that's why I put together Know Before You Buy, because I want you to think about a few things that I'm going to go over in this section. So let me get started with number one. Number one is, what do you want to power? You have to just stop for a minute and say, you know what am I using this for? Is it for a camping trip? Is it for a road trip? Am I buying this in the case of an emergency if my power goes out? Am I taking this to a cabin that we go to every once in a while? Right? So what do you want to power? Refrigerators, TVs, phones, maybe the internet, a laptop, LED lights. So take a moment, write that down. What do you want to power? Number two, do you know how much power your appliances and device require? You probably don't. Most people don't. I learned so much in the last couple of years, and I still don't know everything. So I'm going to be showing you an accessory towards the end of this video that I highly recommend you get, because it's going to help you, determine how much power your laptop uses, your TV uses, your phone uses. But let's stick to this page here. So number two, how much power? So you need to know that, okay? And the other thing is, some of these devices have startup wattage, surge wattage. If you're going to be powering a refrigerator uses wattage, but then it has a compressor that kicks on to make the refrigerator cold, and that can use hundreds of watts, especially older type refrigerators. Let's look at some examples real quick on the bottom. LED lights can use 5, maybe 10 watts. Those are the newer LED lights, right? Laptops can use 100. They could use more. It just depends on how old it is. Is it a gaming laptop, TVs can vary. New TVs use 100 to 200 watts, those thin TVs. But if you have a larger one, it could use 300 watts. If you have an older one, well, those can use like 300-400 watts. And what about a CPAP, right? If you have to sleep overnight and you have to use a CPAP, well, those can vary from 50 to 150 watts, probably more, probably less. Let's take a look at the next section. So here's part 3. How long, right? How long will you need to power the appliances or devices? Now, again, let's just say it's for an emergency, right? Maybe your power goes out once a year for like 8 to 12 hours. Let's use that as an example. All right? But you have to know, or at least have an idea before you make a purchase, because how long really connects with the battery size of the power stations. So let's look at the next slide. So let's put it all together, right? Number one, what do you want to power? What devices or appliances? Have a list of that. Number two, how much power do the appliances and devices require? Now, the tool or accessory I'm going to show you coming up is going to help you do that. And number three, how long will you need to power them, right? Number three, again, pertains to the size of the battery, right? But number one, and number two really pertains to the power of the unit, because each of these power stations have different power ratings. So here's an accessory that I'm going to recommend. And the brand, don't worry about the brand, because sometimes this brand's not available. I'll make sure links are in the description. But this device here, and I'm going to demo it in a moment so you can see it. I'm going to show it to you. It's real simple. But if you're new to it, it's intimidating, right? So this sells for around $25. and you can connect devices and appliances up to 1875 watts, so just be aware, or 15 amps. Now again, I don't expect you to know that, but I have to tell you that because if you plug in, let's say, a 3,000 watt like toaster oven, it's not going to work on this, okay? But let me demo it for you. But what this will do is it will help you understand the wattage that your devices and appliances use. So let's check out the demo. So we're going to do a simple demo, so you know what this device is about. Again, it doesn't cost much, first of all, right? I think it's around $25. And depending on the brand that's available, we'll put a link in the description. But just realize also that you can't plug everything into this. I believe there's like an 1,800 watt limit and a certain amount of amps. Now, I know that's complicated, but if you want to know how many watts your light is using, how many watts your refrigerator is using, how many watts your laptop uses, your phone, this is perfect for it, okay? So this is plugged into my outlet, as you can see on the wall, and now I've got this light plugged in here. So all I need to do now is turn on the light, and let's see how many watts it uses. Now, again, it is on the watt screen, and this does do more than watts, so just be aware, okay? You can actually figure out kilowatts, which is how your electric company bills you. But I don't want to get that complicated. So let me turn the light on. And look at that. We're using 6.3 watts on the LED light. That's really good, right? And again, plug in your laptop, plug in your phone. Again, you'll learn more about the wattage that your appliances use, even your coffee maker. But if this was helpful, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And we're going to continue on with the review. Okay, now that you saw that tool you can buy to really check the wattage of most of your appliances, well, let's go over some estimated run times based on the Bluetti AC60's 403 watt-hour battery. So if we used a small refrigerator, one of those small college refrigerators that uses about 75 watts, you would get an estimated 4.5 hours. A full-size refrigerator, this is very iffy because if you have an old refrigerator, this can be very different. But let's just say the refrigerator used 200 watts. You'd be able to get 1.75 hours. Now, you need to see our refrigerator test in this video later on in the video. Check that out. We got a lot more than that, but we have a newer refrigerator. Now, what about home internet? Let's say your router and your modem uses about 50 watts. You can get 7 hours of runtime. What about a fan? One of those floor fans. Let's say it uses 60 watts. You can get an estimated 6 hours. An LED light, they use about 5 or 10 watts, but let's say 10 watts. You'd be able to get about 35 hours on an LED light. Now, what if you're using a CPAP? Well, let's just say it uses 100 watts, right? I mean, you'd have to check yours, but you can get an estimated 3.5 hours. That's not a lot for an overnight, situation. What about a laptop, a G5 gaming laptop? That's what we're using right now, nothing fancy. 50 watts will get you an estimated 7 hours. How many charges could I get on an iPad 12.9 inch? About 10. How many charges can I get on an iPhone 12? About 34. Again, that's just a regular 12. What about a Samsung S21 Ultra? Well, that's about 28 charges. Okay, it is 10:07. I'm going to plug this in. All right, probably will be 10:08 by the time I'm ready. But I want the unit to turn on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in turbo mode and see how long it takes to charge. So let me go into the unit on the app, and what I'm going to do is go to settings. As you can see here, charging mode, standard, silent, and turbo. We're going to turn on turbo. All right, the fan is kicking up. The wattage just went to 500 and change. Interesting. So if we change that to standard, Standard drops it to 245. If we change it to silent, it drops it to 150. Interesting. Well, we're going to throw it back on turbo and see how long it takes to charge. It is now 10:08 and we're already at 2%. So 10:07 a.m. is the start time. All right. It actually says it will take 0.7 hours to charge at that rate. Well, we're going to check back in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 49%, 245 watts going in. Now, interesting because it's still on turbo. So I don't know why, if I go to charging mode, it's still on turbo. So it's dropped to 245, which I believe is standard mode. Interesting. But yeah, 50% in 30 minutes. Still not bad. 45 minutes. 200 and something watts going in. We're at 65%. 45 minutes, 65% with 245 watts going in. 1 hour in, what do we have? 81%, 1 hour in, 249 watts so far being pumped into the unit. Well, that's it. We'll find out. 1 hour and 4 minutes. Look at that. 100% charge. 1 hour and 4 minutes. It's time for some peanut butter. Okay, I'm in my Tesla and I'm charging my Tesla. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and show you car charging on the AC60. And so the car charger is located in here on the Tesla. And there's the barrel port. Let me go ahead and connect that and see what we get. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and see what we get. There it goes. 100 watts. 110. 113 watts. So we're 53% charged. It says it'll take an hour, 1.6 hours to charge the AC60 using your car charger. There you go. Charging the car, charging the AC60. Not bad. Okay, I'm in a staircase, and it is dark over here. And I just want to show you the low, the high, and the SOS. So let's start off with low, then high. Not a big difference. And SOS. I'm going to do a quick sound test. This is what it is with no load. This is what it is with a load. One thing I highly recommend if you're going to buy a power station is get one with pass-through charging. And what is that? Well, basically, if you buy a power station, of course you're going to have to recharge the battery inside of the unit, right? And so some power stations, when you're actually charging the battery inside of the unit, cannot supply power to other devices. There are some out there. Well, Bluetti claims you can use pass-through charging, and I know it works, but I'm going to show you it works. So I can charge this unit. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the charger on the side. We're going to see our input wattage going up now. So I'm actually charging this unit, but while I'm charging it, let me go ahead and power other devices. I can put my phone up here for wireless charging. I can plug into any outlets, and I've got a charger plugged in. Let me turn on AC and see if this can charge the battery and power that at the same time. And look at that. It's increasing the input from the outlet, charging the battery, and supplying more power to actually power the charger that's connected, so it can actually charge the battery on it as well. And that is a success, and that is something I highly recommend if you get a power station. Now, another thing I highly recommend you get if you get a power station is just make sure it has pure sine wave outlets, these AC outlets. The electricity in your home is the cleanest you're going to get. But when you're plugging it into a power station, there are some manufacturers that skimp in that area and don't give you a pure sine wave outlet. And so if you plug a fan in, you're going to hear a humming noise, right? If you plug a monitor in or a projector, you might see distortion on the screen. Having a pure sine wave outlet is great for your computers, for your devices, and it provides less noise and distortion. So let's go ahead and turn on the AC outlet. Let's see what we're getting and do a little test here. All right, what are we getting in voltage? I've got 121.2 volts. All right, that sounds about right. And let me go ahead and change this to a sine wave so we can look at it together. Okay, let me just make it larger. Okay, and as you can see when you look at this sine wave, that is really smooth. Now, I'm going to go ahead and plug in this charger because we always want to provide a load on the AC outlet as well, just to see if that changes by much. And it probably will change a little bit, but let's take a look. So we now have 100 and some odd watts, probably 207 watts going out. And let's take a look at the sine wave, and there are some changes there. Okay, under a load, there are some changes, but this is a successful sine wave test. And make sure you get a pure sine wave power station when you buy one. Okay, we're going to do a power test now. We're in the infamous techmadeezy kitchen studio, specially designed for power tests. Now, this power station won't handle a ceramic heater, at least the one that we use, and it won't handle a heat gun. All right, it won't be able to handle that, at least that one. But let's start off with this charger. It's about 2 and change. So turn it back on. Turn on AC, and let's see what we get. All right, we got power. 100, 150 watts, 200 watts, 250, 275, 296 watts. Looks like the highest. 296 watts. Let's go ahead and try something else, and let's see if we can continue to challenge this unit. All right, so we've got the charger on. I've got another charger. Each side has about 200 and change. So again, we're hitting 300. This shouldn't be an issue with one side. It's a double-sided charger. So put that down there, and let's that's powered now, and let's see what we're getting. Over 400 already, 500, 550, 590. We are now at 600. That display, I wish it stayed on longer. 614 watts, 615. All right, 600 watts, and guess what? I mean, look, we'll watch this for a moment, but it looks like the magic is happening. It's actually handling the 600 with no problem. All right, and it says it can run it 0.3 hours on a 44% charge, 616 watts. There it goes, 700 watt charger. I'll put the battery on it. Okay, turn on AC, and let's see what happens. I don't think it'll work, but we'll see what happens. $300, $400, $500, $600, $680, $700, $750, $788, $796. This is holding. It's not supposed to hold, but it's holding. 797 watts. Wow. This is holding. That's not a surge now. It's powering the device at almost 800 watts. Wow. Well, Bluetti, you did it on this one. Okay, we got an overload. There it goes. All right, we got an overload, but I'll tell you, it held it for a little while. I mean, that was impressive. All right, well, I like the inverter in this one. Our next test is a UPS test, uninterrupted power supply. Now, I'll be honest with you, most battery power station manufacturers can't really say they have a UPS because UPSs are, I believe, under 4 or 5 milliseconds and even faster. Okay, now Bluetti did not disclose the speed, the milliseconds of the AC60. I reached out to them. If I get anything from them, I will put it right here on the screen, and if I don't, I will as well. But how does a UPS work? Well, you basically use this as a pass-through. So someone plugs a computer into this, right? And the power comes from the wall, passes through this, and it pretty much goes to the device, in this case the light, right? But if you lose power, then it starts to use the battery. Now, we've got 300 and something watts coming in from the wall, AC outlet, and we've got 50 going out. Now think about that. 50 watts is going out to a light. That is not an LED light. That is an old light. And I wanted to show you that because if you get an LED light, they use about 5 or 10 watts. But let's go ahead and test how quick this thing is. I want you to watch the light, and I want you to watch the screen to see how fast it switches over. I'm going to hit that light switch. So get ready. I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, as you could see, it did flicker, and, you know, if you watch the screen, it went to 0. And now, no power coming in from the AC outlet, 50 some odd watts going out to power the bulb. And I'll go ahead and turn it on real quick, and it's not really about turning it on, it's really more about turning it off. But let me turn it on for a second. It'll kick back on, as you can see here. And I'll show you one more time. So again, on the count of 3, I'll zoom into the screen a little more. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. That is our UPS test. I hope that helped you. Let me show you wireless charging. Now you do need to turn DC on for wireless charging. so the wireless charger gets activated. Take my iPhone, put it right on top, and there you go. No issues there. What about my Android, my S23 Ultra? No problem at all. Wireless charging works flawlessly. Now to turn off eco mode, as you can see here, it's showing on the screen. What you need to do when the unit is on is you're going to press and hold DC and AC at the same time. Now you see that the 60 Hertz is flashing. You're in setting mode. All you need to do is press the DC button and the eco will turn off. But now in order to save this, you want to press and hold AC and DC until the 60 Hertz stops flashing and you've just turned off eco mode. Now if you want to put it back on, press and hold DC and AC. Press the DC button one time for the eco mode to turn back on. And in order to save it, you're going to hit both buttons. And that's how to turn it on. And of course, we just showed you how to turn it off a moment ago. Next question, can the AC60 power a good portion of my living room? My 55-inch TV, my Dyson air purifier fan, my cable modem, my Wi-Fi router, my smart cameras, and even some TV lights in the back. Well, let's find out. Okay, I have it all connected, and there goes Brooklyn's beautiful picture. I'll always remember her. So let me turn on AC, and then I'll have a couple of things start up. All right, so we got a couple things turning on. We're using 100 and something watts right now. The TV will pop on and then turn off. The back TV lights went on. The router is starting to turn on. So we are up to 160 watts so far. The fan is not on. Let's wait a moment and to get everything to turn on while we look at that beautiful girl on the left. All right, 160 so far. Obviously, the fan will add more to it. Everything else is turning on, so we're pretty good so far. All right, the TV turned off. That's going to drop. The Roku does that. It'll turn it back on in a moment, you'll see. All right, so that'll creep back up in a moment. And then we'll try the fan. Okay. It's interesting. I don't know why the Roku does that, but that'll always be a mystery to me. All right. All right, TV's coming back on. I can see that. There it is. 165, 66, 170. I think it's the highest I've seen so far. So 170, I believe. I'll put the highest there. Now let me turn on this Dyson air purifier fan. These things use some power also. So, you know, we'll take a look and plug that in. Actually, it's already plugged in. So let me turn it on. So we're at 162, 160 now. I don't want to have the camera in front of the fan. So I'm going to turn it on. And it's on low. All right, 168. And now we're going to put it all the way up on high. I'm going to put it up on 10. And you can hear that. 233 watts. Was that the highest? Okay. 230 some odd watts. Not bad. We're running the fan on high. We are running the TV, the 55-inch TV. We've got the cable modem. We've got the Wi-Fi router, the Roku, the security cameras, the lights behind the TV. Not bad at all. Next question is, can the AC60 power a coffee maker? And I'm going to tell you 99.9% no. Now here's why. If you're using a Keurig, well, these things use like 13 to 1400 watts. This is a Keurig K Supreme Plus. but I've found most coffee makers, even ones that you buy that are really inexpensive, use 800 to 900 watts. And again, that's about 1400 watts. Even microwaves, your chance to use a microwave on an AC60 is slim to none. They're using 1000+ watts, and it's just the way they pull power that's pretty different. Can the AC60 run a full-size refrigerator? Well, guess what? In most cases it can for a limited number of hours. Now, if your refrigerator is really old, that might be a challenge. We're going to be doing a refrigerator test coming up, so stay tuned. All right, we're going to start our refrigerator test with the AC60. And in a moment, I'm going to give you some information on the refrigerator we're using. All right, but it's 8:26 right now. I've got 100% charge on the AC60. Why don't we turn on AC? We can see the startup wattage. All right, there it goes, 147, 164. I think the highest I saw was 165 watts. Now that's startup watts. This refrigerator has been on. It is cold, so the compressor won't kick on for a little while. But we have 100%, and it is now 8:27 in the morning. We started this at 8:26. Now let's go ahead and see how long this refrigerator test lasts. Now I'm going to put up some information in the right-hand corner so you can see the year. This is a fairly new refrigerator. It's also really efficient, I must say. Again, it is cold now as well. So at this time, we're not using any wattage. The refrigerator's on. We're not using any wattage. But I'll put that image back up for you. And we'll go on and see how many hours or how many days this AC60 can power my full-size refrigerator. All right, we're 2 hours in, give or take a minute, right? And 84%. Now earlier, it was using about 75 watts. Right now it's not using anything. But earlier it was using 75 watts. Look, it still works. So 84%. 2 hours in. 4-hour check. 62%, currently sending out about 80 watts to the refrigerator. 62% in 4 hours. Not bad. 6 hours in, maybe a few minutes past 6 hours in. What do we have? 38% with 78, 79 watts going out to power the refrigerator. It's 38%, 6 hours in. Not bad. 8 hours. 8 hours in, this thing is still powering the refrigerator. Oh my. 8 hours. Where are we at in 8 hours? Wow, 7%. Okay. I guess we only have a few more minutes left. 8 hours, 7%, not bad. 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Let's see what we get on the battery here at 5 o'clock. We've got 3%. Oh, just now, 2%. So this thing's going to die any moment now. 5 o'clock. I don't know. Is this thing still alive? Ooh, 1% with 120-something watts going out. 1%. We're coming close to the end. 5:21 p.m., 0%. We now have to plug the refrigerator back in. 5:21, 0%. All right, good morning. We are about to do our solar test. This is going to be a quick solar test, just to show you how it gets connected, what we use. And today we've got a 200-watt panel. We've got some extra solar cable, so we can put the solar panel out further and still keep the power station where we want it. We've got the MC4, the solar cables, right, to the barrel plug. We've got our solar disconnector tool. We'll show you how that works. And then we've got the solar angle guide. And this is an inexpensive tool that really helps us get the right angle on the solar panel. so that we get the most power from the sun. So let's start this. I'm going to go ahead and put up the solar specs for the AC60, and I'm also going to put up the solar specs for the solar panel we're using, so you can see that they're a good match. It's very important that you get the right solar panel for your power station. You can damage it if you don't. So that's the information there on the left hand side. Our solar panel is ready and angled. Again, we use this, if you could see here, that dot in the middle creates a shadow, and that shadow is not in the proper place right now. It's in the upper left hand corner, and our goal is to get that shadow into the center, and the sun's going to block it. We want it to be in the target. So this panel is set up pretty much the best that it's going to be. And if I can move my hand, again, if I had it the wrong way, you'd see the little dot there on the left hand side, but right now this is pretty darn good, and this tool here really just helps you find the right angle. Alright, we're going to connect the solar cable. It goes on the side of the unit right here, this little plug that's being covered. So there we go, and that'll now allow us to connect the solar cables, as you can see here. Alright, we're going to plug this in and now see what we get. This is a quick solar test. Alright, it is turning on now. It's seeing that we're receiving some solar. And it'll come up here. There it goes. Alright. Alright, look at that. So we got a 200 watt panel. It is about 68 degrees, so the temperature is really nice. And we're getting about 109 watts. And not bad. I mean, I was hoping for more. That's not the unit, by the way. That's just, you know, we've got a little bit of clouds in the sky. Not much. Just a drop. But there you go. 109 watts. It says we're at 49%. It'll take 1.8 hours to fully charge the unit. And that's our successful solar test. Let's go ahead and show you how to take and disconnect the solar cables real quick. And so here's one of the solar cables, right? And you can see it's got two pins right here. And so this little guy, basically an inexpensive tool, we'll put links in the description, just goes underneath it, really, pushes the pins in, and by doing so, you can disconnect the solar cable. So, not bad. Again, we'll put links in the description, and there's our solar test. So this could be very helpful, you know, just understanding how to maintain batteries. So this is Bluetti's battery storage and maintenance message. So hit pause, take a look at this, but it's definitely something you should know. All right, it's time for pros and cons. We're going to start off with the cons. Not many, definitely a whole bunch more pros. So my first con with the power station is I wish it had more solar capability, especially knowing that this is expandable. The solar capability is 12 to 28 volts, 8 amp, 200 watts. It would have been nice to definitely see more on the voltage side, VOC, for series, and as well on the amperage side for possible parallel connections. So, you know, the other last con I have is this display just turns off way too quick, right? You turn it on, you know, and then it turns off quick. And you have an app, right? There's a Bluetti app, but it doesn't have the capability of adjusting the time for the screen. So I would like to see that. Is that major? No, it's not. And you know what's nice is you can tap this to turn it off. So I like that. Tap it to turn it back on. So that's good. Let's go ahead and talk about pros. So my first pro, and in no specific order, but this thing did really well in the power test. If you did not see that, make sure you go back in the video and check that out, because this thing did really, really well. I was impressed with the inverter. I also love that it's expandable. It's not cheap, right? The B80 batteries are not cheap at all, but the 800 watt-hour capacity, this thing can expand to 2015 watt-hours, and yet you're talking about these units are really not that big and really not that heavy. Here's a big one, right? Lithium iron phosphate, right? 3,000 cycles, and then it goes to 80%. This thing will last for years, and more importantly, make sure that you do battery maintenance. I like that it's IP65 rated, it's dust proof and water resistant. I like the covered outlets. They function really well. I like that you don't have a big AC brick. And maybe one day we'll never have an AC brick with power stations. But if you remember some of the first Bluetti power stations, you had a big AC brick to carry around if you wanted to plug this in and charge it. I really like the wireless charging. It worked very well. It'll support devices up to 15 watts. And hey, this thing's got a 6-year warranty. That is really good. Most of the warranties out there are 2-year, maybe some 5-year. And the last one, it charged pretty quick. We were a little over an hour using turbo mode, plugging this into AC. It charged pretty quick, a little over an hour. So there you go. Pretty good stuff. All right. Well, I sure hope you found some value in our detailed review. You know, this thing is built well. It really is. They did a phenomenal job on build quality. It's IP65, which is nice to have. Wireless charging works really well. I like that it has a flat top. The handle lays right down. And yet, this is a beefy handle with a nice rubber grip. So it's really strong as well. I think they did a really good job with that. The power test, this thing did really well on the power test, right? To 600 watts, did really well. It's expandable, so that's great, right? I do think that the price point on this is a little high for the wattage, you know, power and the battery capacity. But, you know, maybe we'll see some sales prices. But hey, I sure hope that you found this video to be helpful. And if you did, take a moment and give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. It really helps the channel. And if you want, follow us on social media right above. All right, and we did start a Tesla channel. We are about 10,000 miles in after a couple of months. So our goal is to come out with some videos to talk about, like, what is it to go from a gas car to a Tesla? Right now, we came out with some accessory reviews, stuff like that. So hopefully, you know, subscribe to our channel there at our Tesla channel. And by the way, if you want to subscribe to this channel, right there, you'll see a round techmadeezy circle. Click on that. You can subscribe to our channel. And on the right side, I'll have a power station playlist. You can click on that and see all the different power stations we've reviewed. Thanks so much. You guys have a great day.